Welcome to this week's Swarf and Chips. Today's 10-minute tour takes place here at AE Forrest in Motherwell. I'm standing next to the founder of the company, and he's really looking forward to this one, aren't you, Alan? You can't wait.
No, we can't wait.
Don't miss this week's Swarf and Chips. So, Alan, thank you for letting us into your workshop today, a business that's expanded a lot in recent years. Tell us where it all started before we start walking around.
It all started 1988. That's when we started, and back then it was mostly patterns and various other things that we could do at the time when the business started at the start. And we've moved on quite a bit from there. To where we are just now.
And one of your latest acquisitions we're going to see in this tour, which is your Herco DCX 22 machine. Now let's have a look at some. I was totally fascinated by your company, Alan, and I want to start by just looking at some of the things that you're making here. I mean, for example, this. I know we're probably not going to talk in much detail about what it is, but this gives an illustration of the types of materials that you're machining and the capabilities within your machine shop. You take on anything, don't you?
We more or less take on anything, yeah. It's a wide variety of materials that we cut. As I say, this is a
and that even extends to here. You've got gentlemen here. This is would you call this woodworking, pattern making?
It's basically woodworking. It's windows for a cathedral. So it's
and it's quite a different skill to
a different skill
to general machining, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And these gentlemen been with you long?
Yes, I've been with us a long time.
You keep your staff? Is it easy to get staff in this part of Scotland?
That is always a problem.
It is a problem, is it?
It is a problem, yes.
Because we always talk about that wherever we go, whichever country we're in, how challenging it can be to get skilled staff. What industries are you actually servicing here now? A lot of people might think Motherwell, oil and gas sector, subsea. Are they all things that you do?
Stuff for subsea, foundries, the buses, various other things that we can't really discuss for NDAs, you know.
Yeah.
But
a well-trusted company amongst various sectors.
Oh, aye.
Now, this is a really good example as well of the size and weight of parts that you're machining.
Yeah.
Would you take on size or parts of this size regularly? I mean, we see this in the Herco being cut at the moment.
We do. We've had a big shaft in here. It was about 600 in diameter, and that was all machined into grooves. That was done in there.
Okay, now tell me about this DCX 22i, because this is your latest purchase, isn't it? In a minute we're going to see, and keep tuned, we're going to see some of the other machines in the machine shop, and you have got a diverse range. But this is a big
machine.
Bridge machine. Why did you buy it, Alan, other than the parts that we got in here?
The parts keep getting bigger, so we had to go bigger. You know, you can do a big job in that, and you can't do that in a wee machine.
And you obviously need the crane, I suppose, because the doors will open on this, they'll concertina back, it will allow you to get in. Tell me a little bit about the relationship that you got with Herco, because although this is the only machine that you've got here at the moment from them, you've had about 6 or 7, I believe,
We've had about 6 or 7 machines over the years since we started getting into CNC. We are currently looking at another machine from them, but we haven't got it finalised yet, but we're on the road, as they say.
And is it that their machines fit the purpose of what you do, or is it down to their support that they give you? Is it down to the cost of them? Because all these things are really important.
They're all part of it, aren't they? The machines themselves they're good quality, and the programming is easy on them. So these are all parts.
And metal cutting came last, didn't it? Metal
cutting came last.
I mean, just again, this is a lot of our tours are fairly random, but you can see lots of wood, lots of patterns that you're making.
Yeah.
When you make a pattern, do you actually make the final product as well? So, the mould?
Certain things, yes, but a lot of times we are just making the part that goes somewhere else to get the final part made. Okay. So that's various things.
Let's move this way, because you've got a couple of other machines here. Similar style, and this is what I challenged Andy about earlier, the fact that you bought the Herco DCX, which is a bridge machine. You know, he likes the working envelope that it offers for a small footprint, especially with the Y-axis. But these machines are a smaller version of that, but they're built the same, aren't they?
They're built exactly the same.
Does this style of machine type lend itself to what you machine here, and why do you always go?
We find them they're slightly more accurate, I would say, than a normal C-section. The bridge is better.
Because he also said to me, this was one of the first machines that you got, and the performance of this is incredible. You know, contouring, surface speeds, for a machine that I think was 1997.
That's 97, yes.
And do you know what, Alan? I used to sell those machines, and in 2001 I sold a 2-metre portal, and I remember at the time competition was fairly limited then, and in fact this is the 2-metre version, isn't it?
That's correct, yes. That's the 2-metre. Again, your limitation is your Y, but we do a lot of jobs on that machine as well.
Well, let's look at I mean, look, something like this then. I mean, is this typical as well of what you would take on? It looks like a pretty hard steel. Are you machining?
Well, as far as I believe, we're only the bits we're machining, I think, is just it's up in this end here. We're going to be machining that. That'll be going in the Herco though.
Okay.
It's got the height for it.
Okay, coming right up, don't miss this. Some really fantastic applications that have been machined on the Herco. So this, Alan, this is what we all love when we get into engineering, isn't it? We like seeing huge bits of steel and hardened steels that are machined. Some machining operation gone on this, all done on this new Herco?
All done on the new Herco, yes.
And is this typical of hogging out? I mean, I spoke to your sons earlier about, you know, why machine this like this? Why not cast it with less material on it? You know, there must be reasons for these things, but
well, again, we're just subcontracted to do this. So, but I take it's obviously when it's in plate, it's denser than a casting. Your casting, you can have problems with porosity. So obviously, taking it out of the solid like that, it is better quality at the end of the day.
And typical for us talking about steel, if you're looking for exotic steels, of course, Interco are sponsors, proud to have them as our sponsors. You can obviously find their details on the ticker below. Right, Alan, let's go through and look at some fairly what I class as unique 5-axis machines, because they're machines that I've not seen before. And I appreciate at the moment that building we've just been in is a new building, which you've added to the size of your workshop.
That's correct, yeah.
In here, Thermwood, clues in the name what you're machining, I assume, but a 5-axis machine, perfect for this type of sort of profiling of
for contouring, aye.
Yeah.
And well, 5-axis work where you need to do undercuts, that's ideal for that.
Now I know this machine is idle at the moment, but is that because you're more going towards steel these days, or is it just purely because
just the way the work comes? Those foam sections you've seen, that's what that jigs there, that's where they were machined.
Right, okay. Now, have you heard of Thermwood? First time I've heard of these machines, but it looks like a pretty dynamic machine tool. Reliable, good, fast?
We've had this in 2007 and very little problems with it.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, it's unusual, I think, for us, with the amount of machine shops we go in, to come across machines that we haven't seen before. And this is another example of that. Now this, can you explain, Alan? I mean, we can see what it is, but the brand and some of the heritage here, because I believe that these machines are pretty well established, popular, and also, very, very reliable.
They are, yeah. Well, this one in particular, as I say, it's came from Formula One, so we're the second owner of it. So, third owner, sorry.
And what I do really love about this is this is real time. You know, this machine's been in action. What have you been cutting? What are you making?
There was two, the shape you see there, it was two small patterns for foundry for what they call soft drives, where two castings have a rubber, liquid rubber injected into it, and it means it's a soft, when they put the prower onto it, it's just a soft wind up, it doesn't get bang.
Okay. So do you get the full use out of the 5-axis element of this machine as well?
Yes, we've done a lot of 5-axis work on it. We do.
There's quite a bit of space. It looks like there's quite a big Y-axis on it too.
Well, as I say, we've got about 1,200 mil and 2.5 metres in the X. So yeah, it's a good size of machine. And as I say, there is a lot of jobs that we get in here. Very accurate on the 5-axis for when you're doing the 5-axis. So.
Okay, well let's now.
Good job.
It's a really good tour we've had. It's albeit it's been brief, and we'll finish up in front of your latest acquisition again, the Herco. I'm led to believe by, and I think you mentioned this yourself earlier, your son, that you have a Herco lathe coming to site as well soon. So there's a need to go into turning. What we've seen here is very, very much milling orientated.
Yeah.
Why is this? Are you subbing your work out at the moment?
We're subbing a lot of turning work out. Again, this is it's a new customer to us, and we've been doing work for a couple of years now. And I say we're putting out a lot of turning work, and it's a need too, as I say.
Okay, now just to conclude this terrific 10-minute tour, just tell us what the strengths of your business here are. You're nestled right in the heart of Scotland. There's a lot of industry around here, but probably a lot of competition too. What do you think? What makes you a bit different, do you think?
Well, as been smaller, in some cases we can react quicker to what the customer's looking for. Sometimes they'll drop things off at 5 o'clock at night, and we'll work at night and get the thing ready for the next morning. So that's, you don't get that everywhere.
And I think the very fact that Andy told me that you're still working 7 days a week. 7 days a week you come into this place.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Even more than we do at MTD. That's it for this week's 10-minute tour. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. for another 10-minute tour. Now, if you want the MTD team to come to your workshop so you can have a Swarf and Chips 10-minute tour, contact us at inquiries@mtdcnc.com. Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you.